On a scale from 1 to 5, 6.
What's up? What it is? What it do? It is your boy Alan C. And the place to be. Holla at your boy. Thank you for tuning in and hollering with your boy. I'm on Instagram. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Deezer. I'm on Spotify. I'm on everywhere you can get your podcast from. Streaming to you live tonight from YouTube and Twitch. As we always do. Follow Al U Bugging on Instagram and YouTube at Al_U, the letter U _bugging. And shout out to my Sideline Talk family. Happy birthday, Tay. Shout out Herb. Shout out John. What up, fellas? All right. And unrelated Ravens news, but Ravens news. Baltimore Ravens former head coach John Harbaugh has been working with the New York Giants to lock in a deal to be their new head coach. Everything is pretty much locked and sealed. They're just still ironing out the actual contracts. But without with no further ado, the New York Giants new head coach to come in and establish a culture and establish some winning ways around that building. With the young Jackson Dart, the young Cam Scatterbull, the young Abdul Carter, the young Kayvon Thibodeau. Brian Burns is a beast. Dexter Lawrence is a beast. We already know what type of weapons they got over there in New York. John Harbaugh's going over there to establish a culture and establish a culture of winning. I was coached much success. I think, like I said last week, if you haven't heard me or haven't read my article on Substack, you can follow Al U Bugging on there as well. alubugging.substack.com. I put up an article that just said it's time. I wish no ill will towards him. I think we had a hell of a run with him as a head coach. It was just time for something new. And the Giants are getting the hell of a coach. They are getting a warrior that will be in the trenches with them fighting, scratching, crawling, all of that. So shout out to John. I believe he's taking Todd Monken up there with him as well to continue being his OC. Package deal that y'all got from Baltimore. I appreciate everything that they've done here, and it's just time for them to move on and establish that same culture, that same ethic, that same work ethic, that same way of winning in New York. And it's been time for them to do that. They haven't had a successful winning season. They've had one since Eli Manning retired, which is pretty much 5 or 6 years ago. So it's time for them. So again, shout out Harbaugh, shout out Todd Monken. Y'all gonna go up there and y'all gonna kill it. Let's talk about these playoff games we got coming up this weekend. Tomorrow starts the first playoff game of 4. The Buffalo Bills travel to Denver to take on the Denver Broncos. I want to start here. The Broncos defense is, if not the best, I want to say top 3. You got them, you got Texans, and you got Seattle's defense all vying for that top spot. So the Broncos defense isn't number 1. They're no lower than 3. And they need to play like they're number 1 if they're going up against Buffalo and they have any hope, chance, fighting effort to stop Josh Allen. Josh Allen is a hell of a quarterback. James Cook is a hell of a running back. If they plan on selling out to stop one, the other one can kill you. So you need plans to go ahead and stop both and leave Buffalo confused. Buffalo has the highest, I don't remember there's much pressure on any 6 seed. Remember 6 seed used to be the very last spot that you can claim in the playoffs? I remember that. Not too long ago. I want to say 2020 they changed, maybe 2021. So it wasn't that long ago where the 6th seed was the absolute bottom spot for the playoffs. And for some odd reason, everyone is looking at Buffalo like Buffalo has to win the Super Bowl this year, coming from the 6th spot. Totally unfair. But I mean, it is what it is when you got an MVP quarterback at the helm. Unfair expectations is part of the game. Um, but with that said, they not crying themselves no river. They ain't feeling sorry for themselves, and they believe they can win from the 6th seed. So shout out to Buffalo, go get it. What I will say is they cannot base this game solely off of Josh Allen. They need to have a plan of attack with everyone. That defense needs to stop that Denver Broncos running game. There's not much really to stop. Hasn't been a top running game all year. Been very inconsistent in the run. So they should be able to slow down the run, trying to put everything on Bo Nick's shoulders. If I'm Buffalo, that's how I win. Your quarterback versus my quarterback, and Lamar ain't in the playoffs. Pat Mahomes ain't in the playoffs. Have it, Josh Allen. I pretty much take my chances against everybody, against the field. If it's my quarterback versus your quarterback, and I'm going to go with Josh Allen in that situation every time. So that's how Buffalo wants to muddy it up. Now, to view the same game plan from Denver, they know that Josh Allen is the heartbeat of that team and the leader of that team. And the killer snake, you got to cut the head. And that's exactly what they plan on doing. Slowing down, because you can't stop Josh, but you're going to slow him down. And you slow down Josh, force him to some turnovers, some uncharacteristic turnovers. He's kind of cleaned that from his game. So you force him into some uncharacteristic turnovers, Josh can give you the ball, can give you the game, and that's what Denver is banking on. Slowing down Josh Cook, the Jaguars were able to do it, but they had the number one run defense. So let's see if James Cook can be stopped for the second week or slowed down for the second week in a row. Of course, Buffalo got a plan to figure out how to get James in the game, catching out the backfield, moving around in formation, things like that to get James Cook free because he is the NFL's leading rusher. But if I'm Denver, my plan is to go ahead and stop him and put the game on Josh Allen and make Josh Allen turn the ball over. That's the hope for them. Just like how you want Buffalo to put the game into Josh Allen's hands, if you're Buffalo, Denver cannot put the game on Bo Nix. That young rook, his second time being in the playoffs, maybe first playoff game, can't remember, but he don't have that much playoff experience right now. So you cannot go in the game plan and expect him to carry the whole game plan as, a rookie or second time player in the playoffs. Nah. You want to go ahead and get the run game established, figure out how to get that going. Buffalo does have a weaker run defense, probably the weakest run defense left in the playoffs. So you want to go ahead and attack them with the run. Hold the ball. Keep Josh Allen on sidelines. That's another way to slow down Josh Allen. He can't score if he ain't on the field. So that's where you want to go with that. With that said, if I had to pick a team to win this game, I'm going to go with the defense and the number one team and say the Broncos will move on. All right. And then after that, NFC West matchup, 49ers versus the Seahawks. 49ers is limping into this game. There is no Kittle available. He tore his Achilles, so he's done for the year and the rest of the playoffs and maybe for a good chunk of next year too. So you got Brock Purdy, you got Christian McCaffrey, Fred Warner did not get the okay to play this game, so he is out, even though he returned back to practice on a limited capacity. I'm going to just keep this very simple. I don't think the 49ers have their health to beat and contend with the Seahawks. Now, all this can change if Sam Darnold's availability changes. He's listed as questionable, I believe, officially on the injury report. So if Sam Darnold doesn't play, all of this is for naught. But I don't think San Francisco, with a healthy Brock Purdy and a healthy Christian McCaffrey, I don't think they still have enough on offense to contend with this Seattle defense. Again, this is one of the three best defenses left in the playoffs. I don't think the 49ers got enough weapons. If they do, Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh, when we bring Saleh to the building on Sunday, dog, do not let him leave. If they figure out a way to win this game, Robert Saleh, you got a spot on the Baltimore Ravens as a head coach because ain't no way in hell they're supposed to be able to figure out how to win this game. So I'm definitely going with the Seahawks. Make this a very quick segment and don't need to be dragged out. I got the Seahawks winning this game by a lot. Like I said, I don't see the 49ers being able to keep up and contend and score with how many offensive players they have out. All right, and then we get the Sunday at 3 o'clock. Sunday starts at 3 o'clock. Patriots versus the Texans. This game right here, man, this can go anywhere, either way. This is a coin flip. I think Sunday's games are more of a coin flip than Saturday's. Reason I say it's a coin flip is because the Patriots and Drake May, very consistent, very good offense, going against a very tough, very stingy, very opportunistic defense that can put up points. So you got him going against that tough defense. And then you have CJ Stroud. I don't know what the hell he was trying to do on Monday night. He got the win, so he did enough. And Christian Kirk did score 2 touchdowns, so they definitely still have enough, even with Nico Collins being out, to contend on this game. But I think the Texans, if they can get to Drake May and slow down this Patriots offense, I think the Texans win this game. And I'd be interested to see if the Patriots got that same game plan of getting the CJ, rattle him, and making it so that he doesn't have many opportunities. That Drake May is on the field with that defense with many opportunities to try to figure them out to try to win that game. Very tight, very contested game, very low scoring. I can see this game being a 16-13 drag out fast. With that said, 16-13 with team that will have 16, I will put that on New England to figure out. I'm going to go ahead and give them the respect, the home field respect for this game. And say it's hard to win in Gillette, especially if that crowd gets going. They know what it's like from Patriots of the Tom Brady years when that crowd gets going and is loud and is into it. CJ might get rattled. It's a possibility. We've seen him on the road rattled before in Baltimore and Pittsburgh last week. So it could be the same thing up in Boston. Get the Patriots the slight edge in this game. All right, and then we got the Bears versus the Rams. The last game of the weekend. Chicago keeps pulling out. Chicago keeps pulling out these last minute wins. That luck is going to run out. I don't think you could get that luck going all the way to the Super Bowl. But again, the Chiefs did that in that first Super Bowl run where they came back from being down 20 points damn near every game. So that could be the safe fate for Ben Johnson figuring out and Caleb coming through at the end. I just don't think you can make a safe living off of that, especially with Matthew Stafford. And Matthew Stafford has been coming back from behind at the end of a lot of his games too. So it's not like Matthew Stafford has, been playing it with blowouts and all of that. I just like that pass rush of the Rams. If Caleb gets down and has to throw, I love that pass rush of the Rams. One I deal with the Bears, and that's why I'm giving the Rams the close edge in this one. I see this a bit high scoring. I'm gonna go 30-23 the Rams. So, I could see a valiant effort coming from. I'm gonna go 30-28. I see a valiant effort coming with Caleb. I just don't think. I think this is where that luck runs out. And if this is where that luck runs out, it's been a hell of a season. I don't think many people had the Bears getting this far, winning a playoff game, beating their division rival twice. Ben Johnson and Caleb silenced a lot of people this season. And they're going to need to follow it up again next year. But I'm definitely rooting for them again next year. Like, I like what Ben Johnson put down. I think if the Ravens would have got rid of John Harbaugh last year, Ben Johnson would have been the top of my list of coaches to hire. I think he's just that amazing. He's a mad scientist, mad genius, and I'm a fan. But come on, McVay got the experience, got the title, been there, done that, got the T-shirt, as they say. And I'm just gonna go with McVay in the close game. And Stafford, the same thing, been there, done that. Caleb hasn't, but this is a good learning experience and valuable lesson for Caleb. So that would make championship weekend Broncos versus Patriots, Seahawks versus Rams. All right, and then to close us out, the Baltimore Ravens, like I've mentioned multiple times, John Harbaugh is no longer the coach. We have been bringing in 11 formal interviews. That's not necessarily all coming to the building. There are some Skype, Zoom, Google Meet type meetings going on. But there have been 11. Let me get you those 11 people that have already met with the Ravens. Vance Joseph, Davis Webb, Clint Kubiak, Kevin Stefanski, Matt Nagy, Anthony Weaver, Cliff Kingsbury, Brian Flores, Jim Schwartz, Jesse Minter, and Mike McDonald. They also plan on interviewing Robert Saleh for the head coach spot. Nathan Shieldhouse is a young up-and-coming coach, pass game coordinator for the Rams. Young man. I believe they are interviewing him for the OC position and as well as head coach. Also, they have Chris Shula from the Rams slated to meet with them, and Bills offensive coordinator Joe Brady is also in the mix. Last week, I did say that I wanted Brian Flores is 1A, Robert Saleh is 1B. Number 3 for me would be Joe Brady. Number 4 would be Jesse Minter. And number 5 will be Clint Kubiak for me. If I'm making the decision, which I'm not, which I was, but those are the 5 coaches that I think have a legitimate shot at becoming the Ravens' new head coach once everything kicks off again next year. I don't know if you missed the press conference. Steve Bisciotti had the press conference this week talking about what he was looking for in a head coach. One thing that he said that kind of stood out and kind of pointed to certain candidates, as he said, if you were a head coach before and you didn't have a quarterback, we're not going to disqualify you from being the guy in Baltimore because obviously we have Lamar Jackson. He said if you had a losing record as a head coach, it does not disqualify you because, again, we are a winning organization with a quarterback staff that can find talent. So that kind of kept the door open. I was like, maybe he's talking about Flores, Kingsbury, Robert Saleh, those guys who've had coaches, any of them coaches that came from the Jets or AFC East that didn't have Josh Allen are still in the running. So the plan for the Ravens is to bring in 14 initial interviews, and then next week cut that number down to about 4. And they haven't said this, but I'm guessing that they will be announcing their head coach after Championship Sunday. So in that break between Championship Sunday and the Super Bowl, when you have the Pro Bowl, is when the Ravens will find out who's going to be the 4th head coach in Baltimore Ravens history. So that's my show for tonight. Again, I don't want to keep you long, but I appreciate the time that you did spend with me. Subscribe to the Substack at alyoubuggin.substack.com. Again, this is available wherever you can get your podcast from. Spotify, Deezer, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, the video is up. Twitch channel, the video is up at Al_you_buggin. Be blessed, be productive, be more. I'm out of here. I love you.